two. Down by two. Down by two. Now they're out of timeouts. Down by two. 1.3 left. Down two. Gets a shot off.
Down by two.
So if you've been following our coverage, you know that we are in Orlando covering the Orlando Magic quite often as we've been there all season. But we had the distinct pleasure to be able to meet an NBA great, former player for the Toronto Raptors, drafted by the Celtics. He had a couple stints with the Detroit Pistons, which he's definitely best known for, the Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, and is now a head coach. Who am I talking about? Jesse.
Mr. Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups, 5-time All-Star and NBA Finals MVP with the Detroit Pistons as well, which I obviously have so many memories of watching that Detroit Pistons team, along with, Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace. It was just, it was
a legendary squad.
What a legendary squad.
Man.
And now he is the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and we were down to be able to cover the Portland Trailblazers and Orlando Magic, and that meant that we got to sit down for the pregame and postgame presser with Chauncey Billups, who we want to congratulate as he is now being inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Chauncey Billups. It is well-deserved, and it was just really an incredible experience being able to sit and chat with them, wasn't it, Jesse?
Yeah. What a perfect person to have as a head coach of a young, talented squad. Mm-hmm. They've got so many good pieces.
Absolutely.
And, the wealth of knowledge that this guy has, and, his ability to instill a winning culture into an organization like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't think of a better guy to have at the helm, man. Like, he was, like you said, finals MVP, back-to-back second all team or all defensive team.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was the real deal, and he has an opportunity to teach all these young players how to win. And that's a perfect coach that you want in that scenario.
The one thing that really struck me about Chauncey as well is that he's like cool, calm, collected. He's got a very easy demeanor about him, and just being able to be real with his players as well. Just also just being like a guy, an approachable guy that the players can look up to, but then also being, like I said, real with the players. And when they are, when there is definite room to improve, and there is with this Portland Trailblazer squad, but when there's a lot of different ways to be able to improve, he's not afraid to actually share that and be able to crack down on some of these players as well. And, they, like you said, they are a young squad, and Chauncey Billups is going to do great things. They're going to be able to accumulate some draft capital and build around players like Scoot Henderson. Now they have DeAndre Ayton, and they have some veteran presence as well when it comes to, Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant. Whether or not some of these pieces stick with the team over the next couple of years, there's definitely going to be some moves around, but the Portland Trailblazers are going to be an exciting squad to be able to watch. A lot of people had them as a team that could be a sleeper to be able to make it into the play-in tournament, and that could very well be the case next year. But this is really just to congratulate Chauncey on an amazing career as a player, and then now as he goes into head coaching as well. So we want to be able to share with you our interviews that we had for the pregame and postgame pressers that we had. And really, this doesn't have much of a timestamp, as it's just more insight into who he is as a coach and as a player and as a person as well. So please enjoy our interviews with now Hall of Famer, or soon to be Hall of Famer inductee, Chauncey Billups.
First off, Coach, any updates on Jeremy and Justin's availability for tonight?
Both of them won't play.
Both of them.
Yeah.
As far as starters are concerned?
Same starters as the other day, yeah. So, Scoot, Roops, Chris, Bari, D.A. Yeah.
With the spark and energy that Tumani brought defensively, really on both ends of the floor, I know you can't recreate it with just one player, but what would you like to see from your team in response to him not being able to play the rest of the season?
Yeah, we'll miss Tu's his physicality that he plays with defensively and offensively, his offensive rebounds, and we'll miss it. He had been getting so much better. I feel so bad for him, but he had a great rookie season. He really did. I'm very proud of him. But yeah, we'll miss him, and you know, you just need other guys to step up. It just creates other opportunity. You know, a guy like Jabari out there now will get extended minutes. Chris continues to get better, and Roops and DB. I mean, you just got guys, you know. I hope that Justin, you know, Mania is not down for too long after that tough fall because there's opportunity there, you know, for these guys to prove that they belong. So you got to kind of collectively do it.
The Magic have a majority of the roster that haven't been to the playoffs before. What do you remember about your first trip to the postseason?
I was playing in Minnesota at the time, and I was like the 6th, 7th man, and I was just so excited. You know, we were maybe 7th or 8th seed, about to play San Antonio with David Robinson and Duncan, and you know they were a really good team. And we ended up losing. At that time, the first round was best out of 5, you know. So we ended up losing 3-1 in the series. And I probably played okay in a couple of the games, but I was just so excited, you know, for the playoffs. And I always heard all these stories of how different the playoffs are than the regular season, and intensity, how important value in the basketball is. I always thought about it as a point guard. And it was so true, you know, it was so true. A tough swing and stretch in the first quarter, you know, from the 4-minute mark to the 2-minute mark could actually impact and cost you the game, you know, if you're not careful. So momentum is a really, really, really big thing in our game, and it's even greater in the playoffs.
Coach, similar to yourself, Jamal Mosley became a first-time head coach back in 2021. You know, what have you seen from him in terms of his impact and how he's able to flip this Orlando organization in such a short time?
Yeah, Moses, he's done incredible, man. I'm so happy and proud of him. That's my man. But he's been able to do an awesome job. I mean, he did a lot before he got here. Obviously, he did a lot of the defense in Dallas, so he brought the defensive mindset here. He's got an incredible team to work with, you know, talent. Their size on their team really stands out. The length, I mean, they've done a really good job of building and giving him a great roster to work with. And so now he's just implementing his, you know, what he believes in. And I think him being having had the #1 defense since the All-Star break, pretty much #2 all season, it lets you know the type of job that he's doing, you know, and then lets you know, for those players that they're coachable, you know, and they're teachable, and they really bought in to what he's doing. So I'm proud of him, man. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he got his extension. It was well deserved, and that team is really, really on the up and up, man. Dangerous team, boy, for years to come.
What do you remember about an 18 or 19-year-old Jamal Mosley?
He asked a lot of questions. I remember us being on a recruiting visit. I took him on a recruiting visit, and that's the thing that stood out to me is I knew he was going to be a good player, but he knew he was going to be a good player too. You know, he would kind of let you know that, but he asked a lot of questions, and I always like young guys that ask a lot of questions because they want to be special. You know, so I remember him at that age, and also when he got into coaching. You know, I was, you know, towards the end of my career in Denver. You know, so I remember him at that age, and also when he got into coaching. You know, I was, you know, towards the end of my career in Denver, and we spent that time together. So he asked a lot of questions then. You know, and learned a lot from Coach George Karl, and so I knew that, you know, he was going to be a great coach in this league. And he still has a lot, obviously, to accomplish, but Manny's well on his way.
With just a handful of games, or 7, 8 games left, where have you seen Scoot kind of grow the most throughout his rookie season?
Yeah, you know, he's up and down like any rookie, you know, especially rookie that's a point guard, which to me is the toughest position to play in our game. So there's some times that he looks like he's played 3 or 4 years in the league, and there's sometimes he looks his age, you know. And he had a rough night a couple nights ago. So if I'm talking and looking at that game, I'm saying he hasn't grown that much, you know. If I'm looking at him after practice yesterday, I'm saying, damn, he looks like a 5-year vet. He was incredible. So that's just kind of how it's been for him. And it's all great learning experiences and teachable moments. But I would just say this, I think Scoot, I'm very confident that Scoot's gonna be a star, you know, in this league. And as I tell him, because I know from experience, you're not even really gonna remember these games, you know. You gotta take the fruit out of it, and you gotta learn from it. Man, you're not gonna remember this. You're gonna be able to help somebody because of this experience. So he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine.
Coach, with 2 weeks left in the season, what is the main area of focus for your squad right now?
Well, for us, I just want us to keep getting better. You know, pushing the ball, we're trying to play a little faster. You know, we're trying to get that ball moving, keep our spacing great. And on the defense end, we want to pressure guys, you know. So we're just trying to do that. And I tell our guys, you know, we want to win or lose games on our terms. You know, we don't, no matter what happens, we don't lay down. You know, we just keep scrapping the whole way. So that's our biggest thing.
Coach, what's the biggest thing you've learned this year coaching these guys?
The biggest thing, there's just so many things, to be honest with you, for me that I learned. I mean, I say this every year, unfortunately, but I've coached probably 4 teams, different teams this year, you know, so that's probably a longer answer than we got time for. But I'll just say this, like every situation that I'm in, it just makes me a much better coach, you know. It makes me a much more patient coach. And it also makes me a lot hungrier, you know, to be able to get it right and have a healthy roster so I can actually really compete.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Coach.
All righty.
Questions?
Down 15 at one point, Coach. I mean, how would you describe that fourth quarter and what you guys were able to do? You know, obviously came up short, but what an effort.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good fourth quarter for us. I thought we finally got on the rhythm of just moving the ball. You know, that's an elite defense. Their size really bothered us at the rim. You know, for when we was trying to get layups, they got a double pump. We got to come with these crazy shots. So, man, it was just, we moved the ball. We kind of didn't let them set their defense up. We got a little too stagnant in the third quarter, you know, but those defenses make you do that sometimes. And I thought just picking that up, our offensive energy picked up, and it gave us some confidence, you know. And some guys stepped up and made some big shots for us, some big plays. And, you know, it always just comes down to little things, you know. People look at it and say, dang, 1-point game. But there's so many small things that you look back and you say, dang, I wish I had a do-over there, you know. A lot of things like that.
What did you think of your last possession? Obviously, you know, Scoot had a little trouble there, but was able to find DA with him from the wide open shot.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it was not a good possession, you know. Scoot went to the basket. I thought maybe there was some contact there. Maybe he got fouled, but you know, it is what it is. You're playing against one of the best defenses in the league. There's going to be some physicality. We gotta know that going into that area. But at the end of the day, we get DA a pretty much wide open 15-foot shot, which is his money. You know, I couldn't have drawn up a play any better than that to get a guy like that a good shot. So we'll live with that.
Almost a triple-double for Scoot. What did you think of just not only scoring but assists and rebounding, how he affected the game overall?
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty good game all around. You know, I thought he was aggressive. He took the shots that he was that I want him to take and he's supposed to take that just make us better. He didn't make a lot of them, but he made them when they counted. And I thought he just played well, you know, to be honest with you, defensively. He was a deterrent tonight, you know. He got up and was very scrappy and pressuring those guys, and he made some good plays far as playmaking. He made a really big play, turn the corner, and hit Jabari for a corner three. It was a big play for us. So yeah, I thought Scoop played a good game.
We've obviously seen Delano at this point score quite a bit, but defensively, he had 2 blocks in the fourth quarter. I think on back-to-back possessions or close to it, had 3 steals as well. I think that's part of his game. I think some of us kind of knew he could score a little bit, but defensively, it seems like he's making some progress even since he's got here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm challenging him to do. You know, he's shown the league that he can score the ball, and I'm saying, why stop there? You know, show him that you can get out there and guard too. I thought the block he had on the baseline was huge. It was huge. So yeah, he did. He came up with some good steals. You know, his active hands and our little soft press that we was playing. I thought Delano played a good, clean overall game today.
Coach, it's James Hill with James Hill Sports. When I grew up in Portland, this franchise, the city, the state, as you know, they love the Blazers. You know, we had Clyde and Terry and all these guys, Damon and Terrell back in the days. But just talk a little bit about the Blazers now, and now that you've been there a while, what it's like. The community loves you guys, and it's rebuilding. What do you see from the inside out?
Yeah. I mean, the city and the state and the Blazers and the fans, they have a rich tradition, man. You know, we got the best fan base in the world. I mean, we haven't won a lot of games over the last 3 years, but they come out and they cheer for us, and they just support us. You're around the city, they're all over. They all they care about is Blazers, you know, and we love that. And I think our guys go out and play with that chip on their shoulder to actually say thank you to the fans for the support, because you know it's not like we're going to the playoffs and making these deep runs in the playoffs right now. But for our fans, they understand where we are, and we're trying to refresh the team. You know, we're rebuilding the team and the roster. They understand it, and they support us all the way through. So I love it. You know, I really do. I don't love losing, you know, but it's tough to do the 2 things at the same time, develop and win. It's tough to do that. So we're trying to develop. We're trying to, you know, recreate the magic that was before, you know. And sometimes it's a painful process, and they understand that. And most fan bases don't, you know, so we're very lucky about that.
Coach, the job your good friend Jamal Mosley has done this year, talk about seeing it from afar, how great, you know, he's got this team and this franchise headed.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. I mean, he's, I think any coach, you know, what you hope happens, you know, in your tenure is that you try to put your imprint on the team, you know, in the way that you play, and hopefully with the talent that you bring in, you know, hopefully you have the ability to do so. And Jamal's been able to do that. You know, he's a defense-first guy. His guys, they're the #1 defense in the league since All-Star, playing great, and they're young, they're babies too, you know. So I'm just so proud of them all. He's going to be a coach of the year in this league at some point, you know, and at some point very soon, you know, because they put together something very, very nice.
All right, thank you all. Thank you.